Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Jessica Harrington. Tonight on the Now Bakersfield, the 2018 midterm elections are only 2 weeks away, and we're going in depth with one of the propositions on the ballot, one that could repeal a gas tax. Everything you need to know before heading to the polls. And a local family celebrating the anniversary of the loss of a loved one by feeding those in need. We have more on the special event they held at a local park today. That's all ahead on the Now Bakersfield. Chris?
Here's what we have lined up for you today here on the Now. And Walmart changing the way you can return online purchases. A big deal as we head into a very busy shopping season. We're going to break that down. We'll also fill you in on the latest in cancer research, how some saliva could lead us to a cure. Also in our lineup, Starbucks just opening a one-of-a-kind store. It's really a move to better communicate with customers, so we're going to show you what's different.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, taxpayers are voicing their opinion tonight on the current gas tax and Prop 6, which aims to repeal it. The Now's Tori Cooper hit the streets of Bakersfield to find out how people in Kern County feel about paying more for gas and how they plan to vote on Prop 6 this November. Tori?
When it comes to voting yes or no on Prop 6, most would say it's important to know what your yes means and what your no means as well. That's why tonight I'm breaking down what your vote means in terms of Prop 6 and how taxpayers I spoke to are feeling about it heading into the midterm election.
In November of 2017, prices started to change at your local gas pump. After California state legislators and Governor Jerry Brown passed Senate Bill 1. The bill raised gas taxes 12 cents per gallon, diesel taxes 20 cents per gallon, and raised vehicle registration fees anywhere from $25 to $175 per year based on the vehicle's value. The bill was passed as a way to pay for the repair of California roadway systems, bridges, culverts, highways, and pavement. And some voters today felt they should have had a say in the decision made by legislators last year.
I think we need voter approval. I think the little guy ought to have a say-so.
California state law does not require voter approval to pass a tax increase. But now those opposed to the gas tax are behind Proposition 6. If passed, Prop 6 would reverse last year's gas tax and vehicle increase, and it would require voter approval for any future gas or vehicle taxation. But if it does not pass and voters say no on Prop 6, then you will still be paying more to gas up your car, and future voting on similar tax measures will not be required. In November of 2017, the average cost for 1 gallon of gas in Bakersfield was $3.14, and now the average cost in Bakersfield is $3.79 per gallon, according to AAA. And voters today shared mixed reviews on the current gas tax.
On Prop 6, I think we ought to vote yes. Roll it back. Make it harder to increase gas taxes in the future.
I'm going to vote no on Prop 6 to keep the current gas tax. To be able to fix infrastructure on the roads and highways, we got to have funds coming from somewhere. And since I'm driving on the roads, I'm willing to pay a bit of extra money on my gas to be able to have all those fixes.
According to Caltrans, Senate Bill 1 has contributed funding towards 23 projects in Kern County that concern roadways, culverts, pavement, bridges, and traffic management systems that help combat congestion. And the total cost of completed and non-completed projects amounts to more than $274 million just in Kern County, impacting highways 168, 58, 99, and the 5. And some taxpayers say they are seeing their investment along their daily route.
I've been seeing all kinds of improvements on the freeway, so not here on California Avenue, but I'm seeing everything on the 99, the I-5, a lot of the places that I drive.
While others are not.
I don't believe it's going to go to the roadways as for fixing and for the bridges. You know, we got a lot of bridges, especially here in Kern County, that need to be repaired really bad.
Now, Caltrans does say they do their best to find alternate ways to fund these projects before pulling from the Senate Bill 1 funding in order to stretch your tax dollars further. Right now, completed projects in Kern County alone amount to $7.6 million, and Senate Bill 1 has contributed to all of the completed ones thus far. For more information on Prop 6, head to our website, turn23.com.
All right, Tori, thanks. Well, today a local family came together to help feed those in need, all in memory of a loved one that was lost. Alice Castillo and her family held their first ever Taste of Home Feed the Homeless event today at Heritage Park in East Bakersfield. The special spaghetti lunch was inspired by her son, Naji Ali Almansub, who died last year after battling addiction and mental illness. Castillo says her son always wanted to help those in need.
When he was homeless, he would say that, you know, there was so much need out here, and one of his desires was, when he got sober, was to open a sober living home and come out and help the homeless. So we're going to fulfill his dream and his desire and continue to do this as long as we can.
Castillo says she hopes to hold the event again next year and hopes it will continue to grow. Chris?
Hey, let's face it, online returns are just a pain, but Walmart has a big change for online shoppers, and it's a new return policy. Now, it's important to point out that this includes items that Walmart sells, as well as those third-party sellers that they have on Walmart.com. You might not realize that when you shop on Walmart's website, you might be buying from someone other than Walmart. Now, no matter who you buy from, you can bring it back to any Walmart store and they'll ship it for you. Now, you can print out a free shipping label from your Walmart account. All of that starting mid-November. Obviously, Walmart, they want you in their stores, so maybe you end up buying something else, as it is trying to keep up with Amazon and the changes they've made to make it easier for shoppers to get their money back faster. Now, here's the thing. No one's really excited to make returns. There was a recent NPR study that found 91% of American shoppers never or rarely return things they buy online. Now, mainly that's because we do our own research and we often like what we end up ordering and we keep it. But when we do have buyer's remorse, the top reason we don't return is just the hassle. Also, some shoppers, they miss the window to return, and most of the time, even if we don't like it, we end up keeping it anyway. All right, let's take a fresh look here at the Now News feed. Some big stories coming at you fast here. And former Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor saying that she has the beginning stages of dementia and possibly Alzheimer's. Now, she retired from the High Court in 2006. A new study finding that microplastic particles are in human waste. Researchers now concerned because they say this shows plastic in the human digestive system. All this according to The Guardian. This was found in people in Europe, Russia, and Japan. Well, Apple making sure your selfies aren't filtered. People complained that the camera automatically made their faces smooth in their selfies. So Apple fixed the problem in the iPhone XS, XS Max, and XR models. All right, let's get back to our lineup here, and we're filling you in on the latest advancement in cancer research, how some saliva could lead us to a cure. You're watching The Now. The D.C. Attorney's Office launching a hotline to report sexual abuse of children by clergy. The Attorney General of Washington, D.C. has launched an investigation into Catholic clergy in the Archdiocese of Washington. Criminal investigators will review any reports they get and decide if criminal charges can be filed or if the survivor should get victim services. The hotline comes just weeks after D.C. Cardinal Donald Wuerl resigned after 2 sexual abuse cover-ups. Researchers are trying to get patients' medical information, and it's for a good cause. They're creating a database to help other cancer researchers. Now, the name of the program is Count Me In. MIT, Harvard, other organizations behind this move. Now, they're trying to get more than 100,000 cancer patients to donate personal medical information. Doctors will gather information from medical records and saliva samples. Patients can also send blood samples if they choose and allow access to stored tumor tissue. Now, researchers will remove any information that could identify you and put the information into a database that any cancer researcher can access. Now, Count Me In just launched this month. They're hoping this new database will help researchers find a cure. There are now more than 150 possible cases of acute flaccid myelitis. It's a syndrome that's similar to polio. Now, the CDC is looking into a lot of things, including what's causing this pattern and who's at a higher risk for AFM. Now, the average age of patients right now is just 4 years old. One patient, though, just 2 years old. She was paralyzed from the neck down. She had to use a ventilator to breathe. Now, she's now making progress, but it's unknown if she'll ever walk on her own again.
Really heartbreaking. No parent should ever have to experience that. And what makes it worse is not the tubes, it's not the treatments. What makes it worse is not knowing what caused it.
Yeah, and in this case, doctors are particularly confused because Abigail's siblings were also sick at the time, but they were never paralyzed. The FDA is approving more generic drugs than ever. The idea is to give us cheaper options. The FDA has approved 781 generics this year. Now, that's the most since it started speeding up the process in 2014. The biggest difference in price is when multiple generics of the same drug get approved. The FDA is fast-tracking reviews of drugs with less than 3 manufacturers.
Well, today, Bakersfield College held a special luncheon, all in recognition of the 6th annual Bioenergy Day. Bioenergy refers to the generation of electricity and heat from wood and other organic materials. The event featured several leaders in the bioenergy industry, plus appearances from local government officials, as you can see, like Mayor Kero. This year's theme was biomass, the energy that surrounds us. The topic of discussion was, how is biomass a critical part of California's energy infrastructure? An industry expert explained how this form of energy is very beneficial for the county and state.
So it's good for the community because it's a property taxpayer, and it's also beneficial for the community because we're cleaning up the air and we're reducing landfill diversion. It's a win-win to have biomass. It's an energy that surrounds us. It's from your construction wood waste that you would find on any construction site. It's from the orchards that are up along the 99 and 5, keeping those trees from having to be burned, and it just helps clean our air overall. So bioenergy and biomass is critical for California and for Kern County.
According to industry officials, in addition to serving as an energy source, companies in bioenergy work closely together to also keep American forests healthy. And we need that clean air so that way we can look live outside and be able to see the moon, and also to be able to check out all of the gorgeous sunsets. Allison?
We have been blessed with these sunsets the past several days. Look at this pink sunset that we have from Weather Watcher. James Marshall, thank you for sending that in. And you guys can be sending them in as well. We would love to share them on Facebook as well as on air. And if you are planning on heading out to the full moon bike ride at Beach Park tonight, did start at 7, temperatures in the low 70s. But then we'll be cooling down to the upper 60s by the time that ends at 9 p.m. Dress in your Halloween costume, going to be a lot of fun. But temperatures today down slightly from what we were feeling this time yesterday. Just down 1 degree here in Bakersfield. We had a high of 80 degrees, and that's what you can expect as we head into tomorrow as well. But a few high thin clouds making their way into Bakersfield overnight. We'll be seeing clear skies here in the valley, but some clouds will be building in our mountain communities tomorrow as well as in our desert cities. But we do have better air quality tomorrow. tomorrow compared to what we were seeing today. Today we had an AQI of 100, tomorrow an AQI of 77. So technically still in the moderate range, so just make sure that you are keeping that in mind as we head into the rest of the work week. But temperatures will be slowly increasing starting on Friday. Continuing into Saturday, we'll have a high of 87 degrees and then slowly cooling back down to near seasonal. We'll have a high of 76 degrees next Wednesday, which just happens to be Halloween. The Now Bakersfield will be right back.
Let's get to the Now news feed. More trouble for Uber. The company's deal-making chief now resigning because of sexual misconduct allegations. He was also disciplined last year for making suggestive comments. Well, if you have frozen taquitos, well, you might want to throw them away. 2.5 million pounds being recalled over salmonella and listeria concerns. Recall impacts the ones made from July through October 10th. Well, if you like fancy wine, no longer do you need to go to one of those fancy wine shops that cost a lot of money, because Target, Kroger, and Walmart, they're rolling out premium wines for cheap. Yeah, they're trying to do what Trader Joe's has done with $2 Chuck wine, if you've ever had that. Well, you'll want to grab your Mega Millions ticket for this one, or at least listen up if you like to pick your own numbers, because the Now's Jace Larson's here with the Mega Millions numbers that win the most.
It's hard not to think about what you'd do if you won over $1 billion. Many of us can close our eyes and just picture it. The first Mega Millions drawing was in September of 1996, and since then, there have been more than 2,200 drawings. According to LottoNumbers.com, that's a site that analyzes lotto numbers, the number that has been drawn the most is the number 2. It's been picked 219 times. Tying for second place, 17 and 31. Next up, the number 39, then 4 and 46. Keep in mind, the game started with 50 numbers in the drawing in 1996. More were added in 1999, 2002, 2005, and 2013. Today, 75 numbers can be configured into more than 300 million possible combinations.
That first number up is 62.
That yellow ball is the one that matters. Think about selecting number 3. It's been chosen the most, 89 times in the more than 2,000 draws.
Don't put away your tickets just yet, though. We also have the Mega Millions numbers that have been drawn the least often. And those numbers are 72, 71, and 67. they've been drawn fewer than 25 times in the last 2,000 plus drawings. When it comes to the Mega Millions number, 51 has only been chosen once. But keep in mind that those high numbers just got added to the drawing in the last few years.
Yeah, I feel like I need to write all this down.
Yeah.
But it is important because the odds are just so against you in this that any little bit probably helps.
Absolutely.
Yeah, to land billions, which I'll probably do. Like this evening. All right.
I wish you good luck.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen.
Thank you. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and you've probably heard nightmare stories of lotto winners going broke, but how about this? Researchers in Sweden say winning the lotto doesn't always become a sad story, and they followed lotto winners 5 to 22 years after they win. And people who won up to $2 million, they managed to keep their money up to 10 years later. Now, researchers say, contrary to popular belief, most winners, they don't quit working. They just don't work as much as they used to. So they do still have some cash flow coming in. Now, winners also didn't blow their cash on everything. They actually made some educated decisions. Now, while people weren't necessarily more happy after winning, they were more satisfied throughout their life. The magic number here, $95,000. That's how much you need to make a year to be satisfied, according to researchers. And to be emotionally well, researchers say you'll need to make between $60,000 and $75,000. Well, when it comes to ordering out, we want something specific. We want it to be fast. Uber Eats is encouraging more virtual restaurants to open. That's when you can order a certain type of food online only, not in person. Now, there are more than 800 virtual restaurants across the U.S., like a Brooklyn bakery that sells burgers as well, but you can only get those through Uber Eats. Now, some restaurants are reluctant to go virtual because they say Uber Eats charges too much to feature them. Now, if you could get a great deal on a house, but it just came with one caveat, it's haunted, would you buy it? Really depends on who you ask. Older folks are more likely to say, forget it, no matter how low the price. But millennials, a little bit more daring on the other hand, they are more open to the idea of buying a haunted house if there's something about it that makes the deal more attractive. Take a look at this property in Miami. It's a historic haunted commercial building that can be used for a restaurant or an art gallery, so kind of spooky, but perhaps not as attractive as this haunted house built in the 1800s in Georgia. Even comes with that incredibly weird bear statue. Now, nearly 2 in 5 people believe they have lived in a haunted house. That means they've heard strange noises, got odd feelings in certain rooms, or say their pets just started acting erratic for no reason at all. All right, let's get back to our lineup here in Starbucks with a new one-of-a-kind store. And it's to better communicate with customers. We're going to show you what's different when the Now continues. Well, welcome back. And Starbucks just opened its first signing store in the U.S. That means all employees are fluent in American Sign Language. Now it's Kamasi Aaron joining us to talk about what Starbucks and other companies are doing to be more inclusive.
Chris, Starbucks' new signing store is in Washington, D.C. The employees are a mixed group of people who are deaf and hard of hearing, as well as people who aren't hearing impaired. The Starbucks store is also different in that its store format is accessible to everybody. But Starbucks isn't the only company promoting inclusivity. Herbal Essences is making things a little bit easier for people who have trouble seeing. The company is the first to add textured indentations to its hair bottles. So shampoo bottles have 4 vertical lines on the bottom, and the conditioner bottles have 2 rows of dots. And these new bottles are going to be on store shelves next year. Zappos is helping out people with disabilities. The shoe company actually started selling adaptive clothing, but now they're helping deaf people hear music. So check this out. They teamed up with Not Impossible Labs to create this device. It looks like a backpack, if you can see it there, and it has different instruments that are synced up with this device, and then those sounds are converted into vibrations. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And the designer of this device hopes that this vibro-tactile design will eventually become more mainstream.
It's really cool to see how many different companies are coming up with just so many different ways to help people out.
And the smallest things, it makes such a big difference for everybody.
Such a big difference. Awesome stuff. Kamasi, thank you. Well, you may have thought that self-driving cars were a long way off, and now those are here, but now Uber says it wants drones to deliver our food as soon as 2021. Think about it. That's just about 2 years away. So is this actually a reality that soon? Tomorrow on The Now, we're talking to a futurist. That's someone who studies these trends, what it will take to get us to that point. We'll get into that tomorrow.
And coming up tonight on 23 ABC News at 11, the World Series has begun. We're going to take a deep dive into Game 1 as the Dodgers battle the Red Sox. We're going to have all the highlights, plus how local fans watch the game. That's all tonight on 23 ABC News at 11. Looking forward to all of that and seeing who takes Game 1.
Exciting.
Also looking forward to more of these temperatures.
It was just gorgeous today, feeling like fall. We had warm afternoons, but actually chilly nights as well as mornings. So tomorrow here in Bakersfield, you can expect a high of 80 degrees, upper 70s in the Kern River Valley, and low 70s, upper 60s in the South Mountains. But temperatures are slowly going to be warming each day as we head through the work week, up to 85 degrees on Friday. Sunny skies. Actually, some clouds will be rolling in Saturday. Looks to be the warmest day of the week with a high of 87. And then Halloween, 8 days away. Temperatures are going to be in the mid 70s. I'm so excited to use the little pumpkin emoji on all of our graphics now.
And the pumpkin backgrounds. It looks beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Little touch of heat, and then we're cooling back down. That's going to do it for us on The Now Bakersfield. We'll see you back here tonight at 11.